Hey, World Lit folks, I'm going to try to muddle through with this. Sound like I'm going through puberty. Hey, lesson 5, I'm not going to lie, it's my favorite lesson in this, at this level. It has some really fun words with a lot of history to them. And so we'll start. Let me review the parts of speech. I did not get to do that with group 3 or block 3, hoping I'll get to with block 6. We'll see. But I'm just going to review those, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about each word and then go through the analogies, okay? So an anagram, anagrams, I enjoy. Those are word puzzles, all right? Anagram is a noun. It's where you switch up the word, mixing up the letters to form different words, like listen and silent. They're the same letters to use. That's kind of like an anagram sort of thing, okay? Assertion is a noun. Any I-O-N or T-I-O-N word is going to be a noun. And usually that's what we slap onto a verb to make it a noun. So my verb is assert. Assert yourself. An assertion is what you would make then, all right? Coherent. Coherent is an adjective. My voice is making it challenging for me to be coherent or clear today, okay? The next word I'm looking at is fulminate. You guys are pros. So am I. So fulminate, and I used to tease my daughters about this. They were pros at this, especially in the morning, getting up, complaining loudly. All right? Loud complaining, fulminating. All right? Loud complaining. So that's fulminating. That's fulminate is a verb. Goad, the G-O-A-D is not the past tense of go. Goad, while it is a verb, you guys, we all like to do this too. When we goad somebody, we are, excuse me, actually it could be a noun or a verb. I think of it as a verb, though, and that is to kind of push somebody into doing something that they really don't want to do. You goad them into it. You tease them. Oh, come on. With some of the freshmen, trying to get them to do some of those things at Camp Timberline, like the gut check, trying to goad them into it. Come on, you could do this. Anybody could do this. You could, that's goading them into it, kind of prodding them into it. All right. You think of it like a cattle prod that goads the cattle into moving maybe a direction they don't want to go. All right. A goad can also be, like I said, a cattle, something used for cattle prod. It has a little tip that it either would, might shock them or something, or just poke them to guide them to go the right direction. Okay. Now we use words to do that. All right. To do that same action. Okay. Inexplicable. Let's break the word down. The root word comes from the word explain. We add the in, that means the opposite, can't explain. And then the able means having that characteristic. So it's something that's not, you can't explain. All right. It has the quality of not being able to be explained or understood. All right, it's inexplicable. Can't explain it. Can't explain it. Sorry. Non-committal is also an adjective. We could break it down to commit. The AL makes it an adjective at the end. The non gives us the opposite. So we're not going to commit to anything. All right. If we're non-committal, we don't know enough about it, or we don't want to make a decision if we're non-committal about something. All right. Proboscis. Proboscis. A proboscis is it's a noun, and it has to do with a nose. Usually, it's a pretty different looking nose. It could be long, like Cyrano de Bergerac, on the story about Cyrano and the long nose. All right, he had a long proboscis. All right, and then quixotic. Quixotic is an adjective. I love the word quixotic because it comes from one of my favorite stories by Cervantes, a Spanish writer. He wrote this while he was in prison, and he wrote the tale of Don, D-O-N, Quixote. Quixote is spelled similarly to quixotic, and it's that name that this word is derived. Don, in Spanish, Don is like saying sir or duke. It's a title, it's a title that indicates landowner. All right, a wealthy person. Don Quixote, most people, his family thought he was Looney Tunes because he always looked at things from a positive perspective or a different perspective. And so quixotic means putting a romantic twist on something, looking at something in a way, in the most positive, almost unrealistic way possible. All right? In the story of Don Quixote, he meets this woman at a tavern, and she's actually a prostitute. But he treats her like a lady. He calls her Dulcinea. He treats her like a lady, and as the story progresses, she begins to think of herself as a lady, and doesn't want to do or have the occupation she had before, because the way he talked to her, the way he treated her, changed her perspective about herself. All right. So this quixotic idea, it means thinking fantastically or positively, but almost unrealistically positive. All right, that's quixotic. And then surmise. Surmise is a noun, and it can be a verb. Same spelling. If you surmise, you're going to guess based on a little bit of knowledge. All right, and then that guess is also called your surmise. Okay. So based on what I've told you about the word, you're going to surmise about an answer on page 21, a matching definition. Okay. If you boogie on over to page 128, I'll go through the analogies with you. If you have out your cheat sheet, that's always helpful. All right. Some of you are still not putting the main analogy behind the double colon. I even have most of my freshmen doing that. So I can't even say that's a freshman move. To not do that, not put that. Come on, just put the main analogy there. That's a freebie point. I tell you pretty much what it is. All right. So number one, antidote is a noun. Entertaining is an adjective. You have a noun, you have an adjective, or an adjective and a noun. It doesn't matter. It still can only be one type of analogy, characteristic quality. All right. So behind the double colon, you should be putting CQ. Then if you don't get the matching answer, at least you got 1 point. Okay. Number two, assertion is a noun. Claim is a noun. Yeah. All right. Assertion is a noun. Claim is a noun. Remember I said assert is the verb form of assertion. If I assert myself, I stake my claim, I make my claim. Okay? That should help you out. Those two things mean the same thing. All right? Number three, climactic. It's a word that we'll study in the next lesson, in lesson 6. Climactic is an adjective. Finale is a noun. We have an adjective and a noun. We have characteristic quality. Okay. Number 4. Coherent is an adjective. Muddled is an adjective. Okay. Coherent, if it's coherent, we can understand it. It's logical. All right. It's clear. Muddled, not so much, right? So those two are antonyms. Forte is a noun. Weakness is a noun. Drawing is a forte of Mr. Hollenbeck's. Drawing is a weakness for Mrs. Hollenbeck. Okay, those two are opposites. Forte is something you can do really well. It's a strength. It's a talent. Okay. Fulminate is a verb. Disagree is a verb. Now, we know at some level they mean the same thing. But fulminate is a word loaded with connotation. All right. It is so much stronger than merely disagreeing. If you fulminate with your parents over like a curfew, that's a heated disagreement. All right. You are arguing vehemently. All right. Very intensely. So this shows degree. At a basic level, they mean the same thing. But fulminate is so much stronger. All right. So it should be degree. Okay. Goad. You know, think of a cattle, get that cattle in your mind and that prodding. Cattle, our goad is a verb. Restrain is a verb. Okay, because see, those are opposites, right? Goad, you want those cattle to move. Restrain, you don't want them to move. Number 8, inexplicable is an adjective. Mystery is a noun. Adjective, noun, CQ. It has to be. It can only be one thing. Stigma, and this is the only one that's of any mental. Stigma is a noun. Shame is a noun. And let me tell you about the Scarlet Letter, written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. You've seen Hester with that A, honor the Scarlet A. In the Puritan community, she's caught in adultery, and so one of her punishments is she has to wear that A. That's a stigma, all right? That A stands for adultery. So everybody looks on that A in the community. She has to wear it all around. So everybody can be aware of her sin. And this causes, you can imagine, shame. So we have a cause and effect relationship here. That stigma causes shame. Okay. And our last one, number 10, surmise and guess. Those are both verbs, and they mean the same thing. If I surmise, I make a guess based on some knowledge. Okay? Hope this helps you out. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.